Good morning. Today is the 11th of July. It's a beautiful Thursday in the United States of America. You know, with all this combustion going on regarding the Democratic Party and the repeated calls from more and more people for Joe Biden to exit the race, those coming to his defense, or the Democrats in general, when making comments, they don't want to get caught not backing him. Not in public, but they always refer to what he's done for this country. And I want to just point out a couple things that have happened under Joe Biden and his administration with Kamala Harris that didn't seem to be happening under the Donald Trump administration. I'll give you an example. Target, the department store in Sacramento, California, called the police department asking them for help because they're getting robbed. The district attorney in that district decided they're going to sue Target because calling for protection from shoplifters was becoming a nuisance. You think that would have happened under the Trump administration, where a district attorney is anti-police, anti-law enforcement? Siding with the criminal? Flash mobs that go into stores and just rob, pillage 30, 40, 50 people. Do you remember that happening under the Trump administration? It's happening now. We've got the Israeli protesters all across the country now on college campuses. Do you think that would happen under the Trump administration? Protest is a way of American life, but destruction of property and condemning America itself during those protests is not. Do you think that would happen during the Trump administration? I paid $1.89 a gallon on Election Day 4 years ago. Yesterday I gassed up at $3.69. There's a difference. There's something that happened under the Biden administration. My food costs on a weekly basis are up at least 60%. That's something that happened during the Biden administration that I don't think happened during the Trump administration. The anti-police attitude. The 10 million illegal aliens that are swamped our borders, which is the biggest danger that you could imagine. Number one, terrorism. There's a lot of terrorists that came over here, and they're plotting to kill Americans. But more importantly, and this is the Democrat Party's ace in the hole, that they hope, they're going to vote. Try going to the French embassy in your city or any embassy from a country across the world. Walk in there now and ask them for a voter registration form. Tell them you want to vote in their next election and see what happens. The illegal aliens, at least 2 million, will be casting votes this year illegally. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, has already said they've caught people giving them voter registration forms when they come in to this country to get their benefits, to become, as Joe Biden said, documented, so they can stuff the ballot boxes. The Senate is set to get the bill from the House that said, in order to vote, you have to prove that you're an American citizen. The Senate, they said likely, will not uphold that. If your senator votes against that, get on the phone and ask him why. That's sort of amazing to me. You need identification to buy cigarettes, to buy alcohol, but they say it's okay that we're spending trillions of dollars on these people, housing them, they're destroying our cities, and yet we can't ask them if they try to vote where they're from, if they're a citizen. The Democrats don't want that to happen. They say Biden is in trouble. Sure, he's very, very powerful. Put it this way, we found out that his advisors are all Obama people. So now we know who is running the country, whose policies are running the country. Well, Kamala, she's younger, she's vibrant, she's a black female. Well, that's why she's on the ticket. But in primaries against Joe Biden, against the rest of the Democrats, she only got 3%. They don't like her. In California, she's anti-police. She's our border czar. How'd that go? She's our AI czar. How's that going? She's our anti-gun, anti-gunfire, anti-criminal law. How's that going? We have two people very, very incompetent heading the ticket. The Democrats now know it. They're in a panic mode. They're relying on two things. The illegal aliens voting, which they will, and this Judge Marchant in New York City somehow putting a monkey wrench in a Trump campaign. It's the Democrats taking a look at the Republican convention this week, which is going to take some heat off of Joe Biden because that's going to be on the front page. But they're going to still clamor for his resignation because they know if he's at the top of the ticket, a lot of seats are going to change hand and they're not going to be for the Democratic Party. Yeah, very interesting. In 1968, Lyndon Johnson refused to run. Robert F. Kennedy was storming towards the nomination. He was assassinated. His son is running. We haven't heard from him at all now, but he will emerge somewhere as an alternative. We have this year's Hubert Humphrey, which is Joe Biden. And we'll see what happens with Donald Trump's organization and who he picks as vice president. It's going to be interesting. That's why we have to vote. Either way you want. Just uphold the American citizenship rights, uphold your right that made this country great, and make sure you get out and vote. Watch the Howdy Boomy podcast on the Howdy Boomy channel on YouTube. The Howdy Boomy Show, truth, justice, the American way. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. See you tomorrow with our Shift Head of the Week.